Howdy, folks. How's it going? It's great to be back for another Mandolin Mornings here with you guys this week. I hope you all are doing well. And yeah, it's been a pretty busy week here. I feel like I always kind of catch you guys up with what I've been doing the past few days. And it's been kind of a busy week, honestly. Apologies for kind of some radio silence on YouTube the past week or so here, but the big news is Tabitha and I just got a contract on a house this past week, actually last night. It's kind of hard to believe. It's all happened so fast, and it's been a lot of work, obviously. But we're so grateful to have, hopefully have a place of our own in the next few months here, and it'll be a slow transition, getting all our stuff moved over to the new place and getting the new studio set up. But you might see some new videos and some new live streams from a new location in the near future. But no, we're so thankful. We were able to get a place in a really beautiful town in South Carolina called Travelers Rest. I may have mentioned it before, but it's one of my favorite spots here in South Carolina. It's near Greenville, South Carolina, and it's really close to the mountains. Where I think it's about 30 minutes away from Hendersonville and about an hour away from Asheville, North Carolina as well. So I love the mountains, love North Carolina, and it's a little bit cheaper in South Carolina. And Travelers Rest is just like kind of the coolest place to be right now. It seems like they have a crepe shop, they have a local brewery downtown. All sorts of cool stuff in a really kind of small town vibe, which we're really looking forward to being a part of. So you guys will have to come visit us whenever we get settled over there, and I'm sure that we'll be making lots of music from that area. But yeah, in addition to that, it's been just kind of a busy week picking up. We got to spend a couple days down in Seabrook Island. I was telling George there. What's up, George? I hope you're doing well. Really beautiful place off the coast of Charleston, and got to spend some time with family before getting into the thick of things here for the next few weeks. I actually fly up tomorrow to go to Boston to reconnect with Mile 12 and all the folks in the band for about a week. This will be our first time really seeing each other for about a year and a half since all this craziness started, right? So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be so great to reconnect with Nate and Bronwyn and Evan and BB, and we're working on some new music that we'll hopefully be sharing sometime later this year into the next year. But yeah, we're kind of gearing up for some shows again, which we're really excited about too. Coming in July, we'll be out in Colorado playing at Rocky Grass, teaching at the Rocky Grass Academy. If any of you folks are out in Colorado, you guys should definitely come. I know the tickets kind of sell pretty fast, but if you guys are going to be there, I'm so looking forward to hanging out, getting to play some tunes in person again. And yeah, into the fall, we'll be touring around the Northeast, some out down in Texas, I believe, and more dates being kind of solidified and announced as we go. So stay tuned for all that stuff. I know it's getting crazy for everyone. It seems like things are really picking back up, and everyone's kind of going at it at the same time. It's crazy. I think like this week is Telluride, right? It's so cool that things like this are happening again, and I'm looking forward to getting back out there and seeing you guys in person. But it's great to be with you guys here this week too, so let's see how you guys are doing. Awesome to have so many regulars here. I appreciate you guys tuning in every week. What's up, James? Neil? Man, I'm glad that you're staying busy, man. That's I know the feeling when you have like a lot of little projects going on at the same time. Claire Haven, what's up? That's so cool that you're part of the taxi fleet over in London. That's so cool. Let's see here. Who else we got? JMJ19. Awesome that you could be with us here live for a Mandolin Mornings live stream here. Yeah, that's so cool. Dance Tune. Greg, what is up? Lucy, oh, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. With all the congratulations here, we're really excited about it. So hopefully be closing on the house in maybe the next few weeks here, and start sharing some photos and videos of the place soon, so you guys can check it out. And I'm sure there'll be many jams that happen there in the future. But speaking of jams, maybe we could just have a little jam of our own here. Maybe we could start things off by picking some tunes together, and I thought we might start with this one here. Yeah, this is like one of my favorite tunes. You guys know it. Did a lesson on this one a few weeks ago. I guess a couple months ago, actually. And it's in the key of G. One of the classic old time fiddle tunes that have kind of come into the bluegrass world these past couple decades here, and definitely a jam favorite. It seems like the one I always call at the jam whenever I can't think of another tune. I'm just like, let's just play Big Scioto here. So I thought maybe we could check this out here and play through it a few times. Just go back and forth. If you guys have never been to a bluegrass jam, if you're tuning in for the first time, we just kind of trade back and forth. I'll play through the melody first, and then while I'm playing, you guys can play chords to accompany me, and then I'll take a break, and you guys, you'll take a break first, and then I'll accompany you, and then we'll trade back and forth just to alternate. And we'll kind of, imagine like we can hear each other and pretend like this is a real jam. And this is one of my favorite parts of the week, just getting to hang out with you guys, getting to play, and getting to try out new stuff. So I hope you guys have fun with this one. Why don't we go over the chords really quick? If you don't know these chords, just have G and D and G. Do that a couple times here at the beginning of the song for the A section. Then we have a C chord in the second line, back to D, and then we end up at G at the end of the A section. That whole section repeats, just like a normal two-part fiddle tune. And then on the second time after you play through the A section, we'll go to the B section on the third line. Then we have a G, followed by 2 measures of D, then 2 measures of C, and then the last chord that might be a little bit tricky is an E minor. And a really easy way to do an E minor is just use your index finger to bar down on the 2nd fret of the D and the A strings, and leave all those other strings ringing out open. Then we have another D before coming back to a G at the end of the B section. But not too tricky. I'll call out the chords as we go through the tune as well. And why don't we just give it a shot? I'll start us off with some potatoes here. Here we go. Here we go. So we have a G, D, back to G. Same thing. Another measure of G, C, D, back to G. All this repeats again. So C, D, back to G. Then here in the B section we'll go to a D chord for 2 measures. C, E minor, D, G. We'll try this again. To have another one here. play that melody. Thought I'd try a little bit of harmony there at the end. Hope that sounded all right with what you were playing there. That's what John Hartford calls country counterpoint. I love that phrase, just because it's all these different voices that seem like a bunch of nonsense or a bunch of cacophony that kind of work together to create some type of harmony in the end. So that's a fun thing to try out, and these are great opportunities to try out harmony. I think someone was asking about harmony playing last time. It's something I'm trying to get better at, and it's definitely challenging, but the idea is to try to play a note that's probably like a third above the melody note, or it's like 2 notes up above from that note on the scale, if that makes sense. So if you think about this A section here, just that first phrase of the melody, I could play harmony by probably landing on the B note on the downbeat of that first measure. And for the majority of that whole passage, I'm just staying an interval of a third above the original melody. So I guess I can't even play both notes together, but it might sound something like how to go. Something like that, if you were to play both the notes together. That wouldn't be very practical in a real life setting, or in a jam, that is. But you can kind of hear them together a little bit that way. Something about the interval of a third really works well for a harmony. Another great interval is the interval of a sixth, which might work if you were to maybe play a lower harmony here. You could do like instead of playing up to the B on that high A string, you could play the B a lower octave. And even though it's the same note, since we're kind of flipping the register that the note's in, it actually changes the spacing between the notes. If you think about the interval of a third here, you're walking up 3 notes on the scale. But then if you start with the B on the bottom and you have that same G on top, it's actually 6 notes apart on the scale. We won't get too deep into that, but just think about that. You could start the harmony on that low B note if you want to. It could be like a... sounds pretty nice as well. Something about the high harmony, though, it just kind of cuts through, and most of the time when you hear twin fiddles or twin harmony, twin mandolins, something like that, usually the harmony is a higher voicing above the melody, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, so there's all sorts of cool stuff. Let me know what you guys think about harmony playing in the chat here. Let's come over and see how things are going. Oh, it's up, Valerie. Greetings from Florida. That's so cool. I think we'll be in Florida with Mile 12 come maybe Thanksgiving time or something like that. There's a festival that happens somewhere in Florida that we're supposed to play at. I'm drawing a blank on all the details right now. I kind of just check my calendar every day to see where in the world I should be. But I'll look for you there, hopefully. Maybe we can meet up sometime. That's great. What's up, Peter? Thanks for joining from Calgary. That's so cool. I'm glad you could be with us this week. And wow, so many great folks tuning in here. Let's see, Neil saying, unless you're Chris Thiele, he plays intervals on each courses of the strings for 8-note chords on his new solo album. That's cool. I haven't actually heard Chris's new solo record. Yeah, I think it's called Lay Songs. I've maybe heard 1 or 2 tracks. And there's some like really progressive stuff on there. It's almost like hard to listen to just because it's so intense and so cerebral, it's amazing. It's stuff that I can't do. And yeah, he's such a great master of harmony. He can do so many weird juxtapositions and make it all work in the end, which is pretty amazing. I wish I was better at that. Yeah, and he's like a great example of someone who plays harmony really well too. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard that tune Brilliancy that Sam Bush does, and Chris Thiele has been known to play a high part above Sam on that tune, which is crazy because the melody of that tune, like if you've watched the lesson that I have on this one and tried playing it for, it goes really high, like so I think he's playing like while Sam's playing down there, he's playing like what? I can't play it, but you get the idea. It's way up there, and he's using that interval of a third to make that harmony really work with what Sam's playing here. Oh, let's see. Yeah. Dean Daniel says hard doing harmonies on the spot. That's the trick, is that like some people can do this in the moment, and I'm not very good at that. Like I've played a rough version of Big Scioto harmony before, so I had kind of a leg up there. But some people can just like learn a melody and instantly be able to see the harmony part in their mind's eye, just because they know the fretboard so well. They know that relationship between the notes, which is something I'm really envious of. Whenever I was taking lessons from Matt Flinner, we did like a couple of duo shows together where it was just two mandolins, or he was playing mandola or octave or something like that, and he was just absolutely crushing it. He could just, he didn't even know the tunes that I'd written that we were playing, and he would just learn the melody in a couple minutes, and then he would just be able to figure out a harmony part like that, almost like on the first go. And there are a lot of folks who can do that. I'm not so naturally gifted, but it's something that it's on my list of things to try to work on, because I think it is a skill that you can train yourself to be better at. Just understanding that relationship between the notes and what sounds good and what doesn't sound good. If anyone's interested, I do have a lesson on this over on Patreon. I don't think it's actually available on YouTube. It was back last year when I was doing some kind of more private bonus lessons for patrons, like on the second tier and above. But we looked at this tune, The Girl I Left Behind, which is a nice tune in the key of G, and looked at how you could play, I can't even play anymore. Something like that, where you can play another harmony a third above the melody, and it sounds really nice. And the other thing is trying to land on chord tones in really important parts of the melody too, where if a third above isn't a chord tone in a really important part of the melody, it won't really sound very nice with the chords that are being played on top. So that's another thing that you have to keep in your mind while considering what notes to play for harmony, which is so hard to like think about what notes to play in the moment. If you're trying to come up with something off the cuff here, there's a lot of information that you have to kind of keep in your mind there. But yeah, I totally relate with you, Dean, there. It's a tough thing to do on the spot, but something that is fun to try out. Like usually jams are a really good place to do that, because it's a welcoming environment, and things kind of blow over pretty fast. Like if it doesn't go well, there's tons of other things going on that kind of, it's not like the attention is totally on you, I guess. So try some harmony out. Maybe we could try some for some tunes later on in today. Let's see, Lucy is saying, just looking at your tour schedule, November 27th, Sertoma Youth Ranch. Thank you. That's very handy, Lucy. Yeah, if anyone's in Brooksville, Florida, on November 27th, we would love to hang out with you there. I think it's the day, I want to say it's the day after Thanksgiving, actually. Is that right? I think it might be called like a Thanksgiving festival, which is interesting. I never played a Thanksgiving festival before, but that'll be fun. What's up, Neil? I don't think we have any shows in Oregon at the minute, but I think we'll probably be on the West Coast before too long. I think for most of the fall, we've kind of stayed in the Northeast just to kind of hit some of our, kind of the target audiences that we've tried to get to know over the past few years, since the band is from the Northeast. But we'll be kind of getting into some new places next year, I believe. So we'll keep you posted. And Paul, what's up? Oh, there's a video of that on YouTube. That's cool. Yeah. Are you talking about Chris and Sam playing together? I think Neil's saying it's from live from here at Telluride. I think there's another one of them playing at a Merlefest mandolin workshop, like Mando Madness or something like that. And it's crazy. It seems like Thiele's just kind of making it up as he goes along, but who knows? He might have spent some time figuring it out beforehand. And even though like Chris Thiele's a monster player, I think there's there's like signs of him. There's signs of his humanity in a cool way, like not in a bad way. I think it's just like interesting to see how for the majority of his time with Nickel Creek, he ended up playing like really similar solos over a lot of the songs they did live. So you can see like the framework behind his playing, and it's not like he's just obviously he is unnaturally gifted, and he just loves playing the mandolin so much, and he plays like 13 hours a day. But there's like I think there's method to the madness, and there's hope for all the rest of us too. I feel like that whenever I see that, it's almost like looking behind the curtain and seeing, okay, if I really wanted to do this, if I put in the work and spent the time figuring it out, I could do it. But not to say that I will, but it just kind of makes me feel a little bit better about myself when thinking about amazing talents out there like Chris Thile. But let's see. Lewis Eads thinking about getting an armrest after playing outdoors in the early summer humidity. Could you tell us about yours? Yeah, well, I actually get a lot of questions about this one. I like this one a lot. And actually, I put a link in most of my videos online. If you scroll down through the description, I put links to all the gear that I use. And I don't think it's on the live streams here, but any of my other videos on YouTube, you can find a link to the guy who builds these. His name's Dan Voigt, and he lives in Nashville, Tennessee, and he's a fantastic mandolin setup luthier and mandolin builder. Really love his stuff, but something about this armrest really works well for this mandolin. This mandolin has kind of a high neck set. I don't know if you can tell, but the bridge is actually really tall compared to some of the Gibson-made mandolins, where the bridge is a lot shorter and the strings are closer to the face of the instrument. So I like this armrest because it's a little bit steeper, and it has an angle so that it sets your arm up to meet the strings at a really great angle for this mandolin here. So yeah, Dan Voigt is his name, Voigt. But there's other builders out there like Banjo Lit, Dr. Arm, I think is what they call themselves. It's a Czech Republic company that makes armrests for mandolins and banjos. They've got some great stuff. They might be a little bit more expensive just because they ship internationally, but really quality. McClung is kind of the classic one. I'm not sure if they're still making any, but you guys might know some other ones as well. But yeah, armrests will really, I think, make the mandolin feel a lot more comfortable, and it may not change too much as far as like the humidity. I think like most armrests will be made out of wood, so you'll have kind of a similar sticky experience with the humidity on an armrest as you might with the face of the instrument. But what I do like about the armrest is that it makes it feel a little bit more comfortable. You don't have a hard edge digging into your forearm if you rest your forearm on the face of the instrument here. It also just gives you kind of a steady point of contact where you know, okay, my forearm should be kind of touching the mandolin in this range at all times. So it builds up some consistency in your muscle memory to know where the strings are with your right hand, and to feel like the mandolin feels the same every time you pick it up. So definitely check that out here. Well, let's see here. We got some more conversation going about Chris's latest record. I'll have to check this out here. Let's see here. Yeah, Claire Haven says, I agree of what I heard of Thile's latest album. It's hard to listen to. Yeah. But hey, like, just because something's hard to listen to doesn't mean it's bad or good. It's just maybe takes a little bit more work to listen to. But yeah, I've heard Thile talk about how a good composition, like the way he thinks about it, is it's like a good composition kind of rips the rug out from underneath your feet, and simultaneously like places a mattress underneath you as you fall, so that when you fall back into this pad here, you have this kind of amazing experience of surprise and yet relief, almost like you didn't expect this to happen, but there's some inevitability at the end when you look back on it and be like, oh, I see what they did there. That makes so much more sense now. And I definitely find that that's true with a lot of like Punch Brothers music, with a lot of like Thile's solo work. In particular, I love like Not All Who Wander Are Lost is probably one of my favorite records that he's done. And all the compositions on there seem like they have that effect to it, where it's like you didn't really expect him to go there, but at the end of the song, you're just like, I can't imagine it any other way in some ways. But yeah, so much good stuff out there. Oh man, we got some great conversation going on here. So the Pelican 3, what's up? He's saying, I did a video chat with Nathan Livers. He's a good friend of mine, and he told me that if I hold my pick at about 10% angle at the strings, I get volume when I pick. You know, Nathan is such a monster player. Like, you may have, you guys may have heard him play with Michael Cleveland, and they absolutely blaze. They blaze so fast and so loud and so hard driving. And I'm really envious of Nathan because he gets like such a sound out of his instrument at those faster tempos. And I like talking about this a lot, just to kind of reiterate it, though. There's a diagram that kind of goes around that it's like a triangle, and a lot of people use this for fretted instruments in bluegrass worlds, where on one point of the triangle it says tone, on the other one it says speed, and the other one it says volume. And basically people just say you can only pick two. You have to pick two out of those. Like, you can't play fast with good tone and play loud, if that makes sense, or you can't play with good tone and play loud while playing fast. And Nathan, it seems like kind of an exception to that rule, and a lot of players do, like Chris Thiele, of course, and a bunch of other folks too, can play loud and fast and have good tone. And I need to like kind of analyze more of his playing. I know he does kind of like this kind of floating reference on top of the mandolin, where he has his free fingers here above or below the pick, kind of brushing on the face of the instrument. And it seems like that really gives him a point of reference on the mandolin to be able to dig into the strings and play fast. And I kind of do like doing that from time to time. Like, whenever I am playing fast with mile 12, if I need to really dig into the strings and play fast, and I kind of need to use more of my forearms instead of my wrists to get that action, I'll drop my fingers down and kind of brush on the face of the instrument here to do that. And that might affect the pick angle. I haven't really thought about it too much. Yeah, usually when I play faster, it might be a temptation to kind of make the pick a little bit flatter so that the volume kind of keeps going here. Oh, wait. Whoa, no way. Nathan is here with us on the stream here. What is up, Nathan? I wish you could be here to explain your technique better than I can. I love your technique so much, man. And I think, like, that flat pick idea is a really good idea too. I think when you angle your pick too much, it definitely does kind of cut back on the volume here. Also, it might be a little bit easier to kind of push the pick through the strings when it's flat, or maybe Nathan can kind of give us some guidance here. Thanks so much, Nathan. That's so kind of you. I really hope we get to meet up at IBMA or sometime sooner and get to pick some tunes together, because I'd love to pick your brain on all this too. It's kind of interesting when I'm going up to Boston next week to play with Mile 12 again, having to relearn all this music that we played over a year ago. And there's some like faster tunes, not as fast as you guys play, but I'm just having trouble with. It's like a muscle that I haven't exercised much in the past year and a half, playing faster and playing louder to compete with banjo and fiddle and all that. So I'm gonna have to do some workouts next week to kind of get up to speed, and I feel like I could take a lot of notes from you, man. But yeah, I think changing your technique from one aspect of your playing to the next can be a good approach. I know there's some people who say that it's nice to have one consistent technique for no matter what you play, whether you're playing fast or slow, or you're playing tremolo, you're playing chords or single note melodies. Like Jacob Jolve does that a lot. But then there's like excellent examples of folks like Sam Bush who definitely do change their technique depending on what they're doing. Like Sam does kind of like this up the neck kind of tremolo plant whenever he's playing like those fancy octaves. And then he'll go back to more of a floating approach to playing single notes and chords. Or Adam Steffi, he plants really firmly on the face of the instrument for single notes and then goes chopping more of a free-handed approach. I need to get more flexible in that sense too, I think. We'll see here. Oh, Nathan's saying Dan Voigt turned me on to poking holes in my picks. Oh yeah, totally. I haven't done that with my pick yet. I've seen that he's done that with blue chip picks where you poke maybe like 7 holes, is that right, in the face of the pick, much like the Wiegand picks, because that might cut down on the pick click and gets you a better tone out of the pick, because I guess there's less mass of the pick that you're actually pushing through the string, and somehow that kind of deadens the sound of the pick a little bit and gets more of the wood of the mandolin coming through. I know, right? We need to get an interview with Nathan sometime. I did this interview with Joe a couple weeks ago, Joe Walsh, and had so much fun kind of talking with him about improvising and doing all sorts of stuff. And we're planning to do more on the channel as well. So Nathan, if you're up for it, man, I won't put you on this spot right now, but I'll send you a message, man. I would love to get together and do an interview to feature on the YouTube channel at some point here. Well, this is a great conversation. Keep it coming, folks. And in the meantime, why don't we come back over to our tune time and maybe pick another tune together? I'm trying to think what would be a good one here. Have you guys been practicing New Chance Blues at all? Maybe that would be kind of a good one to play together here. If you guys don't know this one, it's a really fun tune. Let's check it out. Apologies for the little clipping on the title there. It's a bit of a interesting tune because this one has an A section that repeats, much like Big Sayota does, but then the B section has these kind of little variations that make us have to write out the entire B section in 16 measure form instead of 8 measures that repeat like we normally have. This one's by the great Norman Blake. I learned this from a Blake and Rice CD, Tony Rice and Norman Blake, and super fun. There's some weird harmony that changes as well. Like the chords in this song don't fit within like any one given key. We kind of transpose from one key to the next. Or some people might call this like a modal tune because we kind of swap between different A sounds and G sounds here. But the main chords here we have our A and G, right? No problem. We also have like a C chord, which is pretty unusual, and an A key. And then we also have an E chord, which gets us back to the A at the end of the A section here. And then lastly, when we get to the B section here, we start off with this big G major chord, and it sounds almost like we're in the key of G for a minute. But then when we get back to this A chord, we're like, kind of weird that we have an A chord there. Then it feels like we're back in G here before getting back to the D to the G, which really kind of solidifies that G major sound halfway through this B section here. So it might be a little bit of a weird one here to start with, but why don't we kind of spend some time playing through this and see what it feels like. Maybe we'll try this a little bit slower just to get used to it here. Here we go, something like this. I want to, I won't. Here goes. So we have an A chord, quick G, back to A, now a C chord, A, G, then back to E, and then the A here. All that repeats again. Then on to the B section here we have a G chord. Feels like we're in G here. Keep playing the G here. Back to A, then G. Alright, let me try this again. All right, your go. Let's try this melody together. What a strange tune, right? I love playing that one though, and it seems like it's become a bit of a fiddle tune anthem in kind of more progressive circles in the past few years here. So check this one out. If you want to review this one, I've got the transcription for this one and all the tunes we'll look at today over on Patreon. If you're not a member already, you can check it out at the link in the description below here. But nice playing with you guys on this one here. Well, that's so cool. Thanks so much for joining us, Nathan. I look forward to catching up sometime soon, hopefully at Rocky Grass or another time. And we'll hopefully make that interview happen sometime soon. That'll be really fun. So let's see here. So Dan's tune is asking about pick grip here. David, do you use the same pick grip for guitar as you do on mandolin? And that's a good question. I don't play a whole lot of guitar, but I've been doing a little bit more since playing with Tabitha and this duo, the Foreign Landers, just because it's a great excuse to play some different instruments and kind of fill out the sound a bit differently. So yeah, for me, I think what does change between one and the next is more about what I do with my other fingers and less about what I do with the pick grip. So for me, I think like the pick grip stays pretty much the same, where I always grip it between the side of my index finger here on my right hand and then the flat part of my thumb, the pad of my thumb. So it ends up kind of looking like this, where I've got, two corners showing out on the back side and then one corner showing out on the front side here. And I actually kind of leave a lot of pick showing. People say that's kind of unusual. I don't know. It just always feels more natural to me to have more of the pick sticking out of the pick grip, whereas some people I know kind of choke up on the pick like this, where there's not much pick showing at all. But when for some reason, for me at least, when I feel like I have more pick, there's more flex in that pick whenever there's more sticking out here. So when I meet the strings, it flexes and it bends in the way that I want it to. Whereas when I choke up on the pick, I don't have quite as much control on the connection of the pick with the strings, where it feels kind of more like I'm just kind of swinging at the strings instead of making contact with the strings and really pushing through. So having more of that pick showing has been really helpful for me for both guitar and mandolin. But so I keep that pretty much the same. And on mandolin, for the most part, like I do have more of a closed-fisted approach. Like I mentioned, I will change it up sometimes if I need to like play faster, or I'm feeling like I need to change something up with my right hand. If I'm tensing up or anything like that, I might change my technique a little bit to have my fingers more splayed like this. And that's more of the approach that I would take with the guitar. For some reason, I like having my fingers kind of more splayed out for guitar. Sometimes I'll do the closed fist as well, but it's more, I don't know, it feels like a little bit more natural for me to kind of have more of my hand opened out on the face of the guitar since it's so flat. Also, there's a number of great guitarists out there who do something similar. Like I love Brian Sutton's approach, where he has kind of a floating approach on the instrument here. Also, Kenny Smith is another one who I really look up to. They have more of a floating approach to the guitar. Not that I'm anywhere near that level of guitar playing, but just seeing their example and checking out how it sounds and how it really works in their technique. It's something that really inspires me to want to try that out on guitar too. But yeah, again, I don't call myself a guitar player, but for some reason that feels natural to do more of a closed-fisted approach on the mandolin and kind of more of an open-handed approach on the guitar. I hope that helps Dan's tune. Let's see here, what else? Oh, Dean Daniel saying Tony's rhythm part is very interesting on New Chance Blues. You're so right. Yeah, on that track, Norman's playing mandolin and Tony's playing guitar, and there's all sorts of weird kind of rhythmic syncopations that happen in the accompaniment with Tony's guitar playing. All sorts of weird runs, like melodic runs in between chords, and he kind of gets to chords late and gets to chords early sometimes, but it's all intentional, and it all kind of is this really cool interplay between the melody and the chords. That's what I loved about Tony's playing, is that he didn't just strum the chords and didn't just play it the same way every time. It was a really interactive experience. From a listener's perspective, it seemed like that at least, where he was just kind of always in the moment, trying new things, working within the framework of the songs, but kind of pushing the envelope and seeing what he could do differently. So definitely recommend checking out that recording if you guys haven't already, Blake and Rice. So that's a awesome tune. Really glad you guys are digging that one. Let's see here. Let's got some more conversation about the armrest back here, catching up with some stuff. Yeah, McClung is a good one. I definitely check that out. James is saying JJ Ryan in the UK is making armrests as well. That's so cool. JJ is an amazing luthier. I've never gotten to play her mandolins, but she has made some really cool instruments. I have a friend who actually does like all the illustrations and animations for my Patreon page and YouTube page. He has one of her octave mandolins, kind of a bouzouki style octave mandolin that she just kind of made. It might be her first one, I forget, but it sounds incredible. It sounds really great. And I'm looking forward to meeting up with her sometime and getting to try out some of her instruments, just because I've heard so many good things. But I didn't realize she made armrests as well. That's very cool. Very cool. Woody Gibson saying that he made an armrest. That's very cool. Ordered a violin chin rest part and made it out of IPE. Yeah. So, that's the main mechanism of the armrest. It's just this mechanical screw clamp that happens on the side of the instrument. It's the exact same mechanism that you get on a violin chin rest. So if you have that hardware and you can carve the wood yourself, that would be a cheap option, honestly. And it would be a cool custom job, I'm sure. So that's very cool to hear. Let's see. And we have some other comments about the speed holes on the pick. Yeah, it'd be fun to try out the speed holes on the Golden Gates here. I've never done that before. I have done that on blue chips. I really like the way it sounds on blue chips, and I played with Wiegans for a long time that come with those speed holes built in, and it makes it maybe a little bit harder to hold the pick. Some people call them pick grip holes, but they're actually, I don't think they are. It actually kind of makes the pick a little bit harder to hold because you don't have as much surface area where your thumb meets the pick. That's why I like these Golden Gates, because they're kind of tacky and I can just stick them to my finger like this and not worry about it falling out of my hand quite as much. But that might be the only kind of danger to the pick grips that I can imagine, because when I played with the Wiegans, there were a few times when I was getting used to them where I accidentally dropped the pick on stage, which was kind of unusual for me. It never happened to me before, but that's a fair price to pay for the tone of the picks. I love the Wiegans sound. It just has kind of a drier, woodier tone, and I think you definitely get that with the blue chips whenever you drill holes. It's a different sound, but it definitely has kind of more of a wooden kind of instrument natural tone sound, which is cool. And we have comments from James here. James has ordered one of JJ's mandolins. That's so cool. And her armrests, and due to go and pay a visit to her workshop in Glasgow soon. That's so awesome. Glasgow is one of my favorite cities. So fun. Been up to Celtic Connections once and driven through there a few times as well. But yeah, that's so cool. I hope it all comes together, man. I bet you're excited to get to hear it and play it. That's so cool, getting to build an instrument with someone like that and get to see that instrument from the start and get to play it and evolve with the instrument and see how it changes and see how it changes your playing too. That's so cool. And Adam Jason saying, do you have any favorite cover songs to play that are outside of typical mandolin tunes? Stumbled on a Spotify channel called Bluegrass Covers. Some fun ones like Sarah DeRose playing When the Dove Cries. Yeah. Well, there's so many things that you can do on the mandolin. I mostly just stick to kind of, bluegrass and old time stuff, if I'm honest. But back a few years ago when I started out that Mandolin Mondays channel, I was seeing how it'd be fun to try playing different stuff on the mandolin. So I did wacky stuff like I can't even do it anymore, but I used to play like the Star Wars music theme on the mandolin, and like video game stuff like Pokemon and Mario Brothers, and even like Beatles covers and Bob Dylan and Taylor Swift and all sorts, Dave Matthews even. But I'm afraid it's all like kind of gone from my fingers now. But if you want any of those transcriptions, they're all kind of like chord melody stuff where I'm trying to play chords and the melody at the same time using like open strings or chord voicings. But if you check out any of those videos and you want the transcriptions for any of my personal arrangements, I've got them over on my Patreon page too. I've got them in this like big collection book. It's like several hundred pages, I think. And you can get the tablature and the notation there too. As far as like favorite cover songs though, that's a good question. There's a few ones that I heard that kind of got me into playing the mandolin. Like I love Nickel Creek would do like these interesting things where they would play that song The Fox, like I can't even play tomorrow. But they would play through that song, which is one of their more popular tunes, and I found these bootleg recordings of them playing it, and the track was over 20 minutes long, and in the middle between like some of the choruses and the verses to the songs, they would take these like musical tangents, and they would play like what was it, Green Acres theme song, or like Andy Griffith theme songs and Super Mario Brothers, and then I think like they went on this long tangent where Chris like sang all of Subterranean Homesick Blues from Bob Dylan, and they might even have like an official recording of this on their Nickel Creek Live record. It's called Reasons Why, where I think they did this a lot in their live shows, and they would just kind of improvise it and feel it out and see where it would take them every night, which is really cool. I don't know, and something about that when I was like a 13 or 14-year-old kid in high school and just getting into mandolin for the first time made me excited about playing the mandolin, just to see all this familiar music being played on the mandolin. So I definitely checked that out. I think it's really cool to see the mandolin do different stuff, and it also makes me more inspired to play bluegrass and old time music too, just because it makes me love the instrument more and love the traditions that kind of started out this instrument, and makes me want to dig into stuff and get better as a mandolin player. Oh yeah, Jeff is saying Rocket Man. Yeah, we did like a version of Rocket Man with Mile 12. I think it might be on that same playlist on Spotify, but it was just kind of a stripped down version, kind of similar to Elton John's track with bluegrass instruments, if that's possible. But there's actually a number of other Rocket Man bluegrass covers. I think the Little Smokies might have done one that's really great, and then there's an Iron Horse band that did it on YouTube. They were the first to do it, and they've got a great version too. So yeah, I'm so glad some of you guys are checking out those Mandolin Mondays videos and the Mandolin Mondays transcriptions. Appreciate that. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Let's see here. Pelican Threes, can you ever do a mandolin mornings with the song Bluegrass Stomp? That's a good idea. Yeah, I think we'll have to plan to do a lesson for that one at some point in the future. All the songs that we've been playing on these streams so far are just tunes that we've looked at on the site so far as lessons go, with all the transcriptions that we've looked at on Patreon and the lesson videos here on YouTube. So I'll have to add that one to the list of things to check out in the future. But speaking of tunes, maybe we could come over and play another tune here. What about, let's see, scrolling through our catalog here. We did a lesson on let's see, one of my favorite tunes, another favorite here. You guys might have played this one before. This one was back I guess towards the beginning of the year, maybe in February, January. But it's become like a really fun tune, and a lesson that I'm really excited about sharing with folks. So if you haven't checked it out already, you can do so now. But why don't we try playing this Squirrel Hunters tune? This is one that I learned from John Hartford, and John Hartford picked it up from like an old fiddle tune book, and there's some links to like Ed Haley and all sorts of stuff. It's pretty cool. But yeah, one of my favorites. It's got such a cool modal sounding melody. It doesn't sound like it's in any particular key really, which is fun. And it has this sense that it needs to just keep going and going, which is such a fun aspect of a tune in the jam. Whenever like you get to the end of one time around the tune, it feels like you want to repeat it and play it another time. So this one can go on for a while. Someone was telling me that they bring a jam timer with them to a jam just for this tune, Squirrel Hunters, where they set the timer for 10 minutes, and then they start playing this tune, and at the end of 10 minutes they have to stop no matter what, even if people want to keep going, which is kind of a hilarious thing. We won't go quite that long with this tune. Maybe we'll just go back and forth a few times. But the chords for this one are really easy. It's just A, G, and D, and then the chords repeat the same way for the A section and the B section. And there's just some slight variations in the melody too, like the A section and the B section are pretty similar in the melody. If you've never played this before, check out the tablature here, or if you want to, you can check out the lesson later on and learn this version of the melody. And then on the lesson video that I have for this one, I'll also show you how to play the same melody in a lower octave, which I think is a great thing to do with any tune that you learn, seeing if you can play the melody in different places on the neck. So whatever version that whatever version you've worked up, why don't we try playing this together, maybe a little bit faster than before here. Get in tune here. Something like this. Here we go. Here goes. Okay, the B section here, same chords. Alright, let me have a go here. Let me try to take a better solo. this melody together now. Oh man, so much fun to play that with you guys. Thanks for tagging along with that journey for Squirrel Hunters. Got a little bit off the path there on a few of my solos there, but so much fun to play there. Nice work, everyone. Cool. Well, thank you so much to Lewis Eads here for the super chat donation here. Thank you guys for all the support, and shout out to all the patrons too who are tuning in and who tune in every week. You guys are incredible. It's so fun to hang out with you guys here. And thanks for all the requests for future tunes. I hope that we'll get to do some of these sometime soon. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying some of the stuff on Patreon. We got a beginner lesson series coming up real soon. It's all filmed, and just been getting around to editing. It's all going to happen soon, as soon as we get over the kind of the excitement of getting this new house here. But thanks so much, Brad, for saying about the Epitius here. Oliver should start building in the next couple months, be done by a year. Oh, that's so cool. Congrats on your new Mando there. I hope it comes through for you sooner. And that's going to be so much fun getting to play this. But yeah, lots of stuff coming up soon. Appreciate you guys checking out all the videos, tuning in for the streams, all the transcriptions, and more stuff soon. I've got to go pack for my trip to Boston, so I better sign off here. But you guys are incredible. Thank you guys again for your support. And next week, unfortunately, we'll not be able to do our live stream since I'll be away. But tune in the following week. I guess that's towards the end of June here. It'll be June 26th, where we'll have another Mandolin Mornings as well. So I look forward to seeing you guys then. Until then, keep on picking, keep on playing, and I'll talk to you soon.